Hey guys, how's it going? Shimbob here, and today I just wanted to do, I guess you would almost call it a rant, but it's a bit of a scripted rant, and I really just wanted to take a look at the reasons why I think people are particularly disappointed and frustrated with Bungie and Destiny 2 after its release, and take more of a logical look at the reasons why people are feeling this way, including myself. So before I start this video, I just want to preface this with the fact that I don't hate Bungie, I don't hate Destiny 2. I have been a little bit frustrated personally myself and have been a little bit disappointed with some aspects of the game and its release. However, I do have faith in Bungie and don't think that they're just an evil corporation trying to make money. So with that being said, let's get into the more hopefully objective side of things. We were expecting a sequel to Destiny 2 like you would expect a sequel to something like World of Warcraft, which is technically an expansion. They keep most of what was already existing, trim the fat, fix some stuff, and then whack a bunch of new places, items, and things to do on top. And that's not what we got for Destiny. Instead, we got a new sequel that was to Destiny 1 what something like Halo 2 is to Halo 1. New and continued story in the already established universe, some graphics upgrades, and a slightly different sandbox of weapons, maps, etc. Not additions and fixes to the already existing sandbox with a bunch of new stuff slapped on top. And while we were never promised the WoW type expansion of a sequel, I think a lot of people were naturally expecting it, mainly because of the game's MMO and RPG elements. So are we justified in assuming that we should have gotten an expansion like World of Warcraft does, or is it partly our fault for expecting something we were never really promised? I think another main reason that people would have expected a much deeper and more expansion-like sequel was the fact that we gave Bungie quite a bit of slack over the last year of Destiny 1's life cycle. A lot of people would state that they were focusing on Destiny 2 so that we should be understanding for the lack of patches and fixes and balance issues and bugs. And now that the game is released, a lot of people are left wondering if that respite from all the criticism was deserved or not. So were we misled a little bit by Bungie and Activision? Or were our natural expectations and assumptions too high? I think what initially started out as just hype and promise for what this game could and would be soon turned out to be just that, hype and promise. It's not hard to tell that Activision were not afraid to use a large portion of the game's budget on marketing and advertising, clearly throwing cash at the advertising side of things with professional athletes and high production value cinematics and live action trailers, energy drinks, and even Pop-Tarts, in what I would have to say is the biggest advertising campaign that I've ever witnessed for a video game in my life. The 7-Eleven across the road from my house still has a Destiny 2 banner on the sign in front of it. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having Antonio Brown do a dance for an emote or having a cool live action trailer with Cade, Six, and puppies. But what I believe a lot of people take issue with is the fact that there was so much of this and the game didn't and probably couldn't ever live up to the hype. Now I know it's a very subjective thing to say that the game didn't live up to the hype, but remember this is technically my own opinion, and I personally just don't think that what we got from the release of the game was what was expected by the audience who viewed this outrageous advertising campaign over the 6 months leading up to the game, and which still continues until today. My main point here is that this is likely another reason why people got into their heads that we were getting a WoW expansion size sequel to Destiny 1. And in my own opinion, I believe that people, particularly the hardcore fans, are justified in feeling misled by the marketing of this game. But I think the worst part for the people who are disappointed with what they were given with the release of Destiny 2 is that the amount of effort and money that clearly went into the marketing and advertising seems like salt in the wound. Every time we see an ad for Destiny 2 on TV, or a poster in the subway or on the street, we're reminded of what we thought we were promised and didn't get, and that hurts. Now for the part that grinds my gears the most and exacerbates the last 2 points the most, and that is the lack of transparency and communication from Bungie. I understand that there are a lot of design and budget decisions that are made throughout the life cycle of a game that the player and consumer probably won't or doesn't need to understand. I've developed games before, I've even presented one at PAX last year, and trust me, I know the feeling of people asking for a whole manner of things in the game and not being able to really explain to them how unviable they may be. However, we need more openness from the developers. There are so many questions that have been asked about the game right now. So many people have so many things that they want answered, but there's nothing. No reason why private matches were removed, no explanation for why competitive isn't really competitive. What's the point of light level? Is the speaker really dead? So many questions and so many unanswered questions. For me, it's like if someone is accused of a terrible crime If the accused person doesn't at least step forward and say, I didn't do it, then everyone is going to assume they're guilty because they have no reason to believe anything otherwise. I believe this is a similar scenario that Bungie has gotten themselves into by not saying anything in response to any of the questions and criticisms towards the game. They've left the community's collective and somewhat cynical imagination to run wild. And then the community developed this view of them that makes them out to be lazy and deceitful, which I don't believe they are, and I don't believe they intend for us to view them that way. But if they don't say anything to the contrary, then the community views of this are just going to keep perpetuating themselves. For example, logic tells me that there will be a lot of things added shortly after the release of the PC version, that there has to be more. And the reason why private match is another thing yet is that they didn't want people to be able to dive too deep and critically analyze every aspect of weapons and armor before this release. I assume it was an intentional reason from a design and experience perspective and not a money-hungry way to sort of con people into buying the PC version or returning to the game once they do arrive. But perhaps it is, who knows? We sure don't, because we haven't been given a reason. So to briefly sum up, I guess a lot of us are left with a bad taste in our mouths because so many of us have loved this game and what it was and always could have been from day one. We've stuck with it for over 3 years through some pretty tough times. We gave Bungie the benefit of the doubt while they were developing D2, and then were so excited for what we believed we were getting with its release, only to be disappointed with the seeming lack of content and features with no communication on why. The hardcore fanbase is the most vocal for any game, and in this case, in my humble opinion, I think we feel abandoned by a studio who we gave so much to. Guys, I hope this video wasn't too depressing for you guys. I've just been having a lot of thoughts lately and I wanted to get them down on paper and reflect and share them with you guys. If you agree or have any other opinions, let me know down in the comments. I really appreciate the feedback. Give it a like if you agree, even subscribe for more content like this. I want to do some more discussion pieces like this going forward, more critical, logical, analytical sort of stuff. I don't hate Bungie, I don't hate Destiny. I just thought we should take a look at it from a different perspective and think about why we actually, frustrated with the game at the moment. Yeah, so I guess until next time, guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Cheers.